del pensiero unico. Ci devono togliere tutto quello che siamo, perché quando non avremo più un'identità e non avremo più radici, noi saremo privi di consapevolezza, incapaci di difendere i nostri diritti. Vogliono che siamo genitore 1, genitore 2, genitore 1, genitore 2, 1, 1 e 2, 1, 1, 1 e 2, genitore 1, genitore 2, genitore 1, genitore 2, 1, 1 e 2, 1, 1, 1 e 2. Sono Giorgia, sono una donna, sono una madre, sono cristiana. Giorgia, sono una donna, sono una madre, sono cristiana. Ma noi non siamo persone, noi siamo LGBT e difenderemo la nostra identità. Voglio dire che non credo in uno Stato che mette il desiderio di Giorgia di fronte al diritto di un omosessuale. Uno Stato giusto si occupa del più debole, di quello che non si può difendere da solo. Uno Stato giusto si occupa del più debole. Giorgia, LGBT, è il gioco. Giorgia, omosessuale, è il loro gioco. Giorgia, cristiana. Giorgia, la proposta l'ha portata Fratelli d'Italia. Giorgia, LGBT, è il gioco. Giorgia, omosessuale, è il loro gioco. Giorgia, cristiana. Giorgia, la proposta l'ha portata Fratelli d'Italia. Giorgia!
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday night to everybody. What up? Welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks, for sure. See, what did we have happen? My family grew by one, so there's that. We welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the family, so awesome. And let me tell you, she's a, so she can't sleep longer than like 3 or 4 hours, but I mean, it could be worse. I remember my first one being, I think like an hour, maybe. Like she'd sleep and then she'd wake up and she'd be hungry. So it's really neat that, we don't have that. Happening right now. At least we get 3 hours. It'd be great if she could sleep like 6 hours and then just like wake up in the we could try and time that so that way it'd be different feeding. But it is what it is. It could be worse. I'm not complaining. It was fun though. So we had that beautiful addition to the family that came in last week. So awesome. Congratulations to my wife and I for that. So that's fantastic. So guys, we might have a guest tonight. We're waiting to see what happens. We're waiting to see if this person comes in. I don't expect that they will. But we'll see. We'll see if they do. If they do, fantastic. If they don't, well, what we're going to be doing is talking about a couple of topics. And I was going to try a couple of DayZ matches here. And see what we can do and get some gaming in while we're talking politics, if that's not going anywhere with this person. So let me first off, if the person is like stalking me on Facebook or is stalking me on the channel here and you want to get in, just drop your code in the chat, drop your name in the chat, drop a follow. I can send you a link so that way you're able to join in on the match with us. So all you got to do is drop your comment in and let me know. I'll be able to send you a link, and that link is going to bring you all the way to the guest star app for Twitch. And once you're in that guest star app for Twitch, I'm going to be able to load you in. We're going to be able to bring you on stream, and we're going to be able to talk about what was happening. But a little bit of forefront about what was happening was, obviously, there's media out there that is like pushing agendas, right? And people will talk about, the liberal agenda and this, that, and the other, but one of the agenda happening, and some things are just like blatant lies, right? Like some things are just straight up lies. Those straight up lies are going to be like some of the rigged election, right? Like things like that. Like we all know that happened. You know, the election was rigged and whatever. You know, we all know that that's a lie. That there's been plenty of FBI judicial interference and you know, all that. All the parties involved have been able to bring evidence to judges to be able to even bring to a trial if there was something. And like Trump appointed judges were laughing at the evidence, saying there's not even evidence here. And then so much so, like, barring them from even bringing the evidence again because it was just basically lies. And then, of course, we have the Trump indictment, which we're going to get into. We have all kinds of stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. But ultimately, one of the things was Fox News today. I was talking and with someone on Facebook, and we're talking on Fox News about I think it was Queen. Yeah, the band Queen. And it was about how the band Queen is going to be releasing a new greatest hits album, and they're taking away Fat Bottom Girls. And Fat Bottom Girls is just not something that is in today's world. It's not something that is politically correct. It's not something that people want to listen to and whatnot. I'll be honest with you. I haven't heard anyone talk about how they don't like the song Fat Bottom Girls. And I mean, even if you haven't listened to the song, you should. If the song is good, it's a good song. It's actually one of my family's favorite songs by Queen. My daughter, Lily, she loves Fat Bottom Girls. It's a great song. I can't tell her that it's being removed for cancel culture anyway. It's like a love of people who like Fat Bottom Girls. So I'm not really sure what the problem is. But what I can tell you is it's not cancel culture. There's not anyone who's upset about it in society that's making a ruckus. I'm sure that there is members of society that are upset about it, but there's not anyone who's like starting something trying to say, yo, what up, Double? Thank you so much for being here. What up, Pack? So much for being here. Thank you so much. Fox News. Yeah, Fox. FAUX News. That's exactly what you're looking at. It's almost like faux news. Just based on the title, I would probably like it. Fat Bottom Girls, yeah, man, it is not a hip hop song, Pack. It is a song by Queen, and the interesting thing about that is it's about liking Fat Bottom Girls. They make the rockin' world go round. That's what the song is. That's like the lyrics of the song. But no one's upset about it. No one's upset about Fat Bottom Girls. I don't know how we even got here, but anyway, I was arguing with someone on Facebook today on Fox's post because Fat Bottom Girls, the line that came up for Fox for their head title was that due to cancel culture, Fat Bottom Girls is being removed from the remastered re-release of the greatest hits of Queen. That's not even what's happening. So what's happening is Queen themselves don't want Fat Bottom Girls on their latest remastered, re-released greatest hits album. And the reason is because they feel that today's world, in order to connect with a younger audience, a younger generation, Fat Bottom Girls is not a song that connects with them. So they themselves, the writers, the producers, the creators, the owners of the song are themselves making a decision to remove it to be able to connect better with other fan bases that they are trying to connect to. It's not cancel culture, but Fox News wants it to be cancel culture, and they're having to push an agenda. And the agenda is don't look at Donald Trump and the like 93, 96 counts that he's being indicted on. Don't look at all this other stuff happening. Don't look at Joe Biden and the economy doing a complete upswing and having one of the best economies we've had in some time. Now, inflation might be higher, but we can argue inflation all day. And that's not having anything to do with the administration that's in power, mind you. That's all corporate gains is inflation. Anyway, I digress. But that right there is what we don't want to be noticed. That's what we want to distract from. So we're gonna blame cancel culture, and that's what we're doing. Imagine Queen doing some hip hop song. That would be fun. It'd be great if they were back. Like, you know, like if I know Queen had Adam Lambert that they did something with, right? Like just recently within the past, 5-8 years, something like that. That would be pretty cool. I mean, hip hop stuff would be good. Only if Freddie Mercury was alive, though. Only if Freddie Mercury was alive. So they're canceling a song from 50 years ago. I don't really know when Fat Bottom Girls came out. I don't want to jump to 50 years, Pac. I don't want to jump to 50 years. What about some? Gotcha. What's wrong? What's wrong with what's about some? I don't know what you mean by that, double. But no, like what's happening is the song themselves, like, so even if it was 50 years old, right? Like there was about a couple years ago, there was, that it's cold outside, baby, it's cold outside. There was a lot of people making a fuss about that. And to be honest with you, I think they were just saying like, man, this is kind of a messed up song when you think about it. And, just leaving it at that. I think that it was kind of removed preemptively from some playlists and from some shopping malls and things like that had it on its, playlist in its rotation, but that's all on them. Like no one was like forcing them to come out. This isn't like cancel culture where we're like banging down the doors, rioting at ABC Studios to get stuff changed, so that way we have to go through and remove the song from circulation so no one can hear it again. Like that's not what's happening. So that's what's important here. But Fat Bottom Girls is a really good song. If you guys haven't heard it, it is a really good song. Inflation is largely driven by the greed for corporate profits, though. That is so true, Double. It is the corporate profit that is driving inflation, right? Can't have them suffer. Exactly. Like, why would they want to suffer? Because they're greedy dragons. They're like the business owners like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They're just so much larger, and they want to continue to grab things and devour things and eat things and whatnot. So yeah, they have to. Need more tax cuts, poor corporations. I know. What's crazy is like they get all about the tax cut when it's for them, right? But the moment that there's tax cut for the actual poor or for the middle class, they don't like it. The funny thing is Republicans, I'm sorry to say this because like it's a difficult thing. Like I do consider myself a Republican. I'm just not a Trumplican, and I'm more of a middle ground and very liberal Republican. But with that being said, I'm not a conservative Republican. But with that being said, when they talk about tax cuts, they get all bent out of shape whenever the rich get bent out of shape whenever they're giving tax cuts to the lower and middle class. But what's funny is they try to give like the upper middle class tax cuts, and keep in mind the upper middle class is like people who make like $200,000 a year up to like $500,000 a year. And then anyone who makes over $500,000 a year is going to be like that upper class. They can be the lower upper class. You can be the middle upper class. You can be the higher upper class. Of course, the higher upper class is going to be that 1%, right? Like, and so for people that don't know this, but like the upper high class, like the 1%, they own more wealth than the lower 50% of the income bracket. They themselves have more wealth than half the country. Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, inflation is large to do with that. Whataboutism. I don't know what you mean by whataboutism. Can you explain a little bit more, Double? I'm not really sure. I don't know about the whataboutism. I'm not really sure about that. If you could explain, that would be great. We were supposedly going to have a guest, though. I don't see our guest at all jumping in here from Facebook, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't think it was going to happen. I tried to make amends. I tried to pull them in. I tried to talk to them. I'm just going to filter through. Yeah, I don't see them here. It's a little bit frustrating. I was really hoping to have them in. This person seemed to want to like egg you on and just like, what do you mean? What are we diverting from? What's your conspiracy? You're bouncing all over the place. I have no idea what you're talking about. Would you answer my question? The funny thing is, I raise questions and this person refused to answer my questions, but I've got to answer theirs, right? as always. So I was trying to get them to come on here because it's so difficult to talk via texting, on Facebook. A lot of things get lost in translation. You can even lose some of the genuality of the conversation, right? Just like I may not hate someone, but it seemed like you can hate someone through Facebook. So I was trying to pull them in just to talk and discuss and everything like that, to have them here. And we'll see. I just don't see them dropping a comment or anything here, but it'd be great to talk to this person and pull them in on the guest star feature to be able to go through that. But that's where we were at, right? Like I didn't think they would be here. They kind of made fun of the idea, but then at the end we kind of like had like an agreement of, well, that's awesome. And maybe after we're done, we'll talk about, hiking through Texas and Colorado. Cause I saw that this person was from Colorado. They originally were from California, I think. But anyway, they failed to show up, and we've got the rest of the night. I'll probably jump in to some Daisy here in a couple minutes. And we'll see if they want to jump in, but I doubt that they will, because that's the thing, right? Like, the moment someone can, especially invite you on a show, they get very nervous. I'd be happy just to do audio. I'd be happy to do video if they wanted to. I'd be happy just to even do it off air and record it and put it online. But they don't want to do that. They have the ability to through Facebook stir the pot, but they don't have the ability to answer questions. They don't have the ability to argue their point. They don't have the ability to have an open dialogue. And that's a real difficult thing, because you can go, all right, so let's go with you on this. Let's go with you on that topic. Let's go down here. And what about this? And they go, oh, well, that's never going to happen. Boom. Here's an example of it happening. What do you do now? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know everything. And that's the whole point, right? Like, none of us know everything, and none of us are really like the best candidates to be president. Very few candidates that are president are good candidates to be president. But the idea is having ideas, putting people in positions that can make those differences and have those ideas, right? That are going to be everything that Trump said in 2016, which did not happen, by the way. We had all kinds of idiots put in jobs, and the real smart people left. Did y'all notice that? He did put a lot of smart people in positions, and then those people were like, you're a fucking lunatic, and I'm out of here. If you're not going to listen to me and my expertise because I have a doctorate or a master's or actually have a degree in what I'm talking about, and you don't, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm out of here. And they bailed. Very few of them stuck around. Let me see here. So what about isms is what we were last talking about. Released in 1978, but never fact checked that. Gotcha. 1978, it's a long time ago that song came out, Pac, and I'm pretty sure that, we can call it 50 years if you want. I'm just saying, like, the idea with that song, though, is, like, people, it doesn't matter the age, right? Like, we're talking about Baby It's Cold Outside. People did think that song deserved to maybe be pulled from the airwaves a little bit. I still listen to it every Christmas. I personally like the song. I don't really see anything wrong with it. I will tell you it's messed up, though. This guy's trying really hard, but, if there's ever been a young male who's interested in a female, and any females who's been interested in a young male, they'll probably tell you that those males come on pretty strong normally. And vice versa. Some women are strong, too. Like, they'll come right at you, So, never fact-check, though. But, one day I'm going to be part of that 1%. So, of course, I want to keep it that way. Exactly, right? Like, that's the whole thing, Double. Like, they just want to keep it their way because they're going to be in the one, or they're in the 1%. So they want to keep it to themselves, right? They're the dragons. And I'm not saying that that's an unfair thing. I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm just saying that those are the people that need the taxes. Like, we should be heavily investigating them. If you're going to make your money, make it completely legally, and no one's going to say anything. We should also tax them at an incredible rate. You know why? Because we could pay for so many things. We could pay for example, universal health care for all American citizens, like every other first world country in the world. Enough about that. So yeah, Pack you are. Double is going to like concerts and vacations So, like, she's definitely going to make it, man. Like, she's going to Blackpink concerts, which I've seen some of the tickets. They're not Taylor Swift price, but they're expensive, and you just got back from vacation. What about as an act of practicing or responding to the accusation of wrongdoing by claiming that an offense committed by another is similar or worse? I gotcha. Whataboutisms. Gotcha. I just actually learned that term, and I love it. I'm going to start using the whataboutisms. Exactly, right? Like, you know, there's that as well. And then there's also like the like going to the end of the line and bringing up the worst possible scenario. That would just never happen and be so atrocious. Like the ideas and the fundamentals that the idea and the argument is built on is just completely like outlandish is not even a good enough word. Like, this would never happen, you know? But, you know, to that point, to defend that kind of thinking, we never thought that a president would try and physically rig an election by forcing a state, a county and a state to find just 12,000 votes just to win the county. And it'd be recorded. And half the country would be like, there's no problem. I don't see what's wrong here. Whatever. Yo, what up, Naruto? Thanks for stopping in, my guy. How's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully things are going well. So yeah, the whataboutisms, that's really good. Yeah, like if someone criticizing Trump, for example, the person would say, what about when Biden did? Exactly. Like that's the biggest thing, right? So if we want to have open dialogue, and that's the problem with Facebook, right? And when you're texting issues like that, like if we're going to have open dialogue, why don't we have open dialogue? And like you come on the show, or we can like, you know, FaceTime, record, whatever, and we can talk about this stuff. But if you're going to just do it on Facebook, you can do, well, what about when this person did this, right? And it's like, I noticed that you answered my question with your question. And even if you answer their question and then just re-ask your question, they'll never answer your question because they aren't smart. They ain't smart. Okay, that's what's happening. They ain't smart. They don't know how to have these kind of open dialogue and these creative sessions. They get too scared. And it all goes back to, because, guys, I was raised heavily conservative, and I understand where this goes back to. This goes back to if what my family taught me is wrong, and what I believe in my core is wrong, then I'm wrong. Then my family's wrong. Then our way of living is wrong. My reality breaks down. And that's where it's at. And it doesn't have to be like that. If you find your hypocrisies and you start just talking about the hypocrisies with yourself, with your partner, with a close friend, with people on Facebook and social media, if you find those hypocrisies that you have and you start challenging them, you're able to go back and figure out things. And you're able to start slowly getting your minds back to a more realistic human level, as opposed to a crazy conspiracy QAnon tornado that grabs anything and everything under the sun. Like, if there's a conspiracy on Earth, it's in QAnon. And that's what's crazy about QAnon, right? Like, it's just like the anti-vaxxers. Go do your own research. Well, I mean, the research I'm pulling is from the CDC, which is like where everyone pulls it from on Earth. And it's the most accurate data. Well, my person over here who told me that they found a website that said this and they sent me pictures of, and I did my research. That's not research, you know? Like, anyway, there's that. So yeah, like definitely a good example, Pack. So when it's like someone saying, we were giving away free healthcare to illegal immigrants, what about our veterans? When the real topic should be, why not both? When the real topic is, why not everybody? And for the people who are crossing the border illegally, like if they have a broken leg, we need to fix it. Healthcare shouldn't be a thing that we're holding over people's heads for money. Are you saying like if there was a baby that you found in the middle of the desert who was like in a dead mother's arms, you wouldn't help that baby? Come on, you're not a human being. You're not a human being, man. Like, I don't know who would do that, but I can tell you there's people who say that. And you're not a human being. That's not what you need to do. That's not where you need to be. That's not what you need to be focusing on, but that's exactly what they'll say is like, well, we're giving all this health care to them. That's exactly right, Double. And the craziest thing about that is veterans do have health care, and it's free. It's 100% free. Okay, it's 100% free. Now, Congress goes back and forth on what they're going to pay for, especially for like our first responders that responded to 9/11. I know Jon Stewart has had to do a lot of work on Capitol Hill to get Congress to keep paying for the cancer treatments, the asbestosis, the treatments of everything that's come up from those first responders that were there. And the same thing that has to do with the VA as well. They get exposed to different nerve agents and things overseas when we're in wars, when we're in fighting and all that. And then like Republicans, or should I say conservatives, no longer want to pay for it. Like they'll launch the war to go into some country for oil and be like, here, bust down the door. Where's your oil, bitches? But then like no one ever wants to pay for it. And then the Democrats are like, all right, so let's look at the money. How can we pay for everything and take care of our veterans? And conservatives are like, that was a different House of Representatives then. That wasn't us. That was a different Senate chamber. That wasn't us. And it's like, this is a country that made the decision, not the chamber and whatnot. All right. So yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm willing to concede the rigged election for President Trump won 2020, but only if MAGA agrees that he won twice so he can run for president again. Gotcha. It's a double. That's a really tricky thing to do, okay? I'm not willing to agree that it was rigged because it wasn't, right? Like the FBI, the CIA, the military, and I know that QAnon's going to tell you that there's two militaries and whatnot, and I can get into that if you guys are interested, but like that stuff right there is not at all like safe to talk about, right? Like you can't say I'm willing to concede that it was a rigged election and so he can't run again. Like let the cards go, right? Because the problem with that is if like we can't give him the credit. You can't give him the ground to stand on because it will only build from there. It's already insane how much we've built with what we have as far as criminality from the Trump administration, from Trump himself, from his allies around him, from everything. It's really crazy. No, I mean, the idiots that are in the bottom 50 then somehow dream that they will hit the lottery and instantly be the 1% so they can join the club. I mean, so I don't do the lottery. I've done it like 4 or 5 times in my life just because, hey, when it's like $1 billion, like what I got to lose by spending $1 or $2 or whatever, right? If I win it, I'm all win it, but I'm not one of these people that's out there every like 3 days doing the lottery. But I have to agree, like, you're most of the time you wouldn't know what to do with your money, right? Like that's what's so complicated about being rich is you have to understand how to keep your money because the government will tax it all. And then the other thing is you have to understand how to maintain your money because you're going to be like, well, I can buy a barge. I can buy a new house. I can buy a mansion here. I can buy a mansion there. I can buy a villa in Rome. I can buy a villa in Greece. I can, buy the Parthenon. You're going to buy all these things and you're going to end up with no money. So you've got to remember how to keep the money rolling in and flowing in, right? Like that's the big thing is keeping that money rolling in and flowing in and making sure that you're good to go with income. That's the real hard part. And just because you're going to get to that 1% doesn't mean that you're actually going to get to that 1%, right? Like these people have billions and billions and billions of dollars. Like Elon Musk for Twitter paid $44 billion. Billion with a B. B. All right. $44 billion. All right. That's a crazy amount of money. I mean, just crazy. Let's see, those lottery people lose the money so fast. They don't use the expenses, other to avoid taxes. Yeah. Like the real thing is if you take your lump sum, it's going down like to 60% of whatever you won, right? Because of that. Everything's going well from Naruto. I didn't know you changed your username, so I came to check out what the stream was. Why was I following? Yeah, man, so I've been announcing, I did a little bit of changing. It's also going to change again from the Political Gamer to Political Gaming. And guys, also forgot to welcome you guys to Political Gaming. I'm DragonStorm325. My code name still hasn't changed. I'm still working out some of the things here on my end to get everything squared away, but we are on all platforms, guys. We are on, here, I'm going to bring it back to the front here. So we are on Instagram. We are on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. We're also on Threads. We're on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, guys. So look out for those. And you can also interact with me on there, and I do a lot of my conversations, and I pull stuff, you know, that I like to support Trump. I mean, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, but hang on, it's not Dallas on the Hill. It should be John F. Kennedy Jr. No, it is John F. Kennedy. No, you're right. It is John F. Kennedy. There's some with John F. Kennedy Jr. too. He didn't die also, right? Like the guy from the 90s, you know, his son, like he's still alive as well. And then like there was this great interview I saw from GOP Accountable on Instagram, which is a great channel, by the way. Shout out to GOP Accountable. If you guys have not watched GOP Accountable, you really need to. They really troll some Retrumplicans out there and QAnon conspiracy theorists. But they're sitting there talking about, so they're talking to this guy about, you know, JFK and all this, and goes, wouldn't JFK be like 112 if he was still alive this whole time and he's going to come back and, you know, save the United States? He goes, he would be 106. As if that's any better. Like, we're making fun of Joe Biden for being too old, but here comes our president. And I still don't understand. So is JFK going to be the president? Or is Donald Trump going to be the president? Or is JF Kennedy Jr. going to be the president? I'm just trying to understand which one, right? Like, that's where we're at, you know. Veteran families used to be covered, but now it's just the veterans, not their spouses, not sure about their children. So I can tell you, as someone who has family who has served in the military and everything like that, that it is, children do get partial coverage on some things while they're serving. And I do believe that, I mean, technically, I think the families do get coverage while they're serving as well. I believe. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me. I do know that they get some really nice benefits. For example, I can tell you that here in Texas, there is something called the Hazelwood Act, and the Hazelwood Act is like a college level payout for the children of people who are veterans. Now, my stepfather served in the United States Navy for many years. I think it was like a E7, E8, E7. I think he was an E7 whenever he got out, but he was up there. And I, unfortunately, am not a biological child of his, nor was I ever adopted by him, so I did not get the Hazelwood Act. But I can tell you that my siblings, they do. And they got the Hazelwood Act, and that gives them like a small I think they get to go to any state college for free that's in Texas. If it's a state registered college, they get to go for free. And then they get like money every week or every month. And I'm not sure how much. I think it's like, you know, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a month or something like that. But for a college student, $1,200 for free a month is a crazy amount of money. As someone who went to college, who worked to go to college and went through college, like I had to pay for my own phone and phone line, and like I mean I remember working 2 weeks at Laser Quest and getting a check for like $300. And I was like, score! They're making $1,200 a month, guys. $1,200 a month. It's insane. But don't quote me on the families, like the wife, the spouse getting it. But I think if they're deployed, they do. So yeah. Especially right now with the indictments and everything. Yeah, you're talking about like the people that are still Trump believers, like forever Trumpers. I don't understand it either. I don't understand how we got to that point. Understand that it is no longer Twitter. I don't know. So I did this. Because I wanted to make sure that people knew that Twitter had changed. So you see that they're buddied up right there. So that way you're able to go through and see that they are buddied up and that we're good to go. So you see X and Twitter, Twitter and X, so you're good to go. So that's why I did that. But yeah, you're right. It's just X. I don't know what X is, but yeah, X. So yes, current service members get the benefits. I mean, just the VA. Gotcha. So just the VA benefits. Gotcha. Yeah. So Pac, they get money, man. It's crazy how much money they get. My parents were military. I know, man, it's crazy. But now keep in mind this, okay? So you do get benefits for things like that. You also get special insurance. Double can go in on this with you guys. As far as being able to talk about that more, Double, if you want to talk about that, but I think it's USAA. You get to be a part of USAA insurance, which I know that you deal with insurance, and that's not really something that's, anyone can really sign up for. It's mainly for service members and their families, and it has to be like direct descendants. Like I can't get USAA, but it's crazy, ridiculous rates. It's actually government subsidized insurance for a car, life, home, pretty much any boat, RV, any kind of insurance you want. They have it and it's subsidized. I believe. Okay. I'm not in the in club. I'm not in the 1%. So I don't know, but I mean, that's where I'm at. But yeah, so Pac, the Hazelwood Act is just here in Texas, and that's how it helps you. I know that they get the money for that. I know that my siblings got money because they went to school here in Texas. I do know that one of my siblings went to an out-of-state college, which then was an out-of-pocket expense. It wasn't paid for. I do think that there's part of the overall VA bill that did subsidize part of that, I think. Not sure. The finances are not my thing for those members of my family. I just know what they've told me. But it's one of those things where I can tell you that for sure the Hazelwood Act gives you money here in the state of Texas, though. So it is pretty neat, though. It is nice. It's a nice setup. It's a nice gig. Students get stupid stipends. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna go, so it's a joke, right? It's part of the great American joke. Let's see how much shit we can throw at these young students to make them fail, and the people that pop out are the real people, right? These are the people we want. The funny thing is, any society has only ever grown by educating their society, right? Like any society. And this belief goes back to the Greeks. Like the Greeks would have public schooling, and they had also like public like colleges, if you will, if you want to call it that. It's just some of it was just too complex for people to understand, and most people didn't go. But it wasn't like they're sitting there taking, what's it called? What's the textiles that they have? They have the not parquet, but what's the mosaic floors. It's not like they're taking mosaic floors as payments here to get into a college, right? Like that's not what's happening. The funny thing is, though, that's exactly how colleges work here in the United States. Maybe not mosaic floors, but they'll take all kinds of other things to be able to get you in. I think he could adopt you, Pac. I think you graduated high school, though. Aren't you, like, outside of this? Like, outside of, the adoption age? What up, Naruto, again? Yeah, USAA is a nonprofit insurance. Nobody can beat them. Exactly. Like, they give you at base rates. Like, their rates are stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. I can't even get in it. Okay, so it's not government subsidized per se. The big thing is that they are a nonprofit mutual company. Gotcha. So a little bit of a difference there, but the idea is clearly, that they are able to go through, provide these really economic pricing for people that are in the military, for their families, their extended families. And I think it goes to the kids of the person who's serving. It's obviously the spouse as well. But yeah, so I believe that that's where they go. And even like if the service member dies, the spouse, I do believe, gets to continue on. The children also get that. I don't believe they can pass that on outside of their direct family, but I could be wrong. But yeah, you just can't beat their rates. Anyway, like that's the crazy thing. So like the intro song that we had, and I think we talked about this last time, which is hilarious, is a song from the it's basically a song made by DJs, Sono Georgia. And that's the name of the song. And if you hadn't heard it, you didn't listen to the intro, listen to the intro again, guys. Or go to YouTube, look up Sono Georgia. I Suno Georgia is the song. And it's basically I am Georgia, or my name is Georgia in Italian. But the idea is that in Italy, there's a far-right movement that is like they support Mussolini. They actually think that they're like, so not everything Mussolini, you know, the guy that was hung and his body was like dragged through the streets and spat on after World War II, and Italy got out of World War II, who got Italy into the Axis or evil powers of World War II, who was buddy with Hitler and Stalin and the Emperor of Japan, whose name escapes me right now. That guy, Mussolini, he didn't do everything bad. It's kind of like saying, like, I mean, Hitler did some bad stuff, but, I mean, it wasn't all bad. Like, that's a weird thing to say. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to say that. That's not true. Everything Hitler did was bad. You know, we should definitely talk about World War II. If there's any World War II buffs in here, I'd love to talk about World War II sometime. It's amazing how the world didn't lose to Germany. Just alone. Germany alone. We can actually thank Russia for that, but whatever. So anyway, the far-right movement supports Mussolini in Italy. And there was an argument about, you know, same-sex couples, you know, adopting. And the idea was that they legally changed the birth certificate. You know, there's like two marks, right? You have a mother and a father, traditionally speaking, mother and father. And they changed it because that's not the normal family conformity in 2023 anymore, right? And this is actually in 2021, I think, when they changed it. But they did it to parent one, parent two, which makes a lot more sense, right? Like, anyone can adopt kids, you know, so parent one, parent two. And because of that, they went through and had an issue with all that. So they went through and were talking about how this person, Georgia, I think her name is Georgia Maloney. Georgia Maloney was having a speech about, I am Georgia, I am a Christian, I am a mother, and then it goes on to basically like bash same-sex marriage and things like that and the ideologies of that, right? So there was these DJs that heard this and they turned this like horrible speech, like human-hating speech, into a great song. And like, so like this is the song, right? Like, and it repeats like in the middle of like parent one, parent two, parent one, parent two.
Georgia, sono una donna, sono una madre, sono cristiana.
So she's saying, I'm Christian, I'm a mother, my name's Georgia.
Sono una donna. Georgia, sono una...
Anyway, so like that's the song that they were playing, right? So that's where I got the beginning music for that, and it's gonna change, but it was just so funny. I'm still like tripping on it. It's still hilarious to me about how like she had this whole far right movement, this anti-LGBTQ movement in her speech, and a whole bunch of DJs or I think it was like 2 or 3 DJs ended up going through and creating a song where they're basically making fun of her. Now, ultimately, she got elected as the Prime Minister of Italy and is doing a lot of bad things, a lot of things that are backwards thinking. And she actually says it was because of the song. She said that she got elected because the song was too good and popular. But it's mainly just to make fun of her. It's just, there is a huge movement in Italy right now for far right fascism, and it's sad. It's happening all over the place. It's happening all over the European Union. It's happening, and they're trying to remove themselves from the European Union. Actually, this happening in Brexit in Great Britain, all kinds of things like that. It's not good, but we'll leave it there. But anyway, Georgia Maloney is her name. Go look her up. It's hilarious. She is the Prime Minister of Italy. But this is how she runs her politics. Okay. So she runs her politics as if she was in Lord of the Rings. And this is a direct quote from her because she views the world as in Lord of the Rings. That's how she deciphers, puts you in a lineup on if you're good or bad. And she believes that same-sex couples are Sauron from Lord of the Rings. And that her party is Lord Elrond or Gandalf. It's Gandalf. And they're trying to destroy the ring of homosexuality. I don't know how it works out, but that's her theory. And there's plenty of interviews with her where she's talking about it. That's exactly what she says. She's using the book Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, the great trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien, from like 1920, 1930, mind you, to decipher the who's good and who's bad. Wild. It's wild that she would admit it. That's the craziest thing. Thank you so much for stopping in, Double. Thank you so much for the lurk. Appreciate it always, guys. Thank you so much. Once again, for our guests from Facebook, if you're out there, please come on to Twitch. Please come in and drop a comment so I can send you over a... I'm going to pull something up here, see if our guest is on maybe Facebook, somewhere around there. And just come on in and drop a comment so we can go through and see if you're here with us, so I can send you over a link, okay? That's what I'm trying to do here. Let's see. The Tavern. So we did have a couple of people here. Tavern. Are you here, Tavern? I see you. You're on a platform. What platform are you on? Looks like you're on YouTube, my guy. Yo, Tavern, so where are you at? Yeah, you're on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the discussion. Yeah, so it doesn't look like we've had anybody from Facebook dropping a comment, which is supposed to be our buddy we ran into today. But, you know, it is what it is. I didn't expect that they would come in here. It's crazy. I don't know why they were even thinking about trying to come in here. But, you know, I'm willing to give them the floor so we could talk about things. But they clearly have not. So it is what it is. Either way. I will tell you, though, it's a little sad. I was a little bit sad. I would have loved to have discussed that, you know. But it is what it is. So... anyway, that was Georgia Maloney. Now let's talk about Trump's indictments, right? Like 90 some odd counts of indictments here. Like, how's that going for Trump? Like, can he get away with murder? I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot that can happen, right? The most dangerous counts are actually going to be the counts that just hit. The state felonies from Georgia are going to be the most dangerous counts. Not only are these pretty cut and dry guilty counts, but they're in a district that is heavily Democratic. So that's going to be working for them in their favor. The other thing is, even if Trump won the presidency and pardoned himself for the federal crimes, which I wouldn't put it past him for trying to do something like that. You know, that's just the shadiest thing anyone could ever do, but I wouldn't put it past him. Even with all that being said, we still have a state crime that is going to be going to court, and a president can only pardon federal crimes, not state. So the state would still be able to take him down. And this isn't someone who's an anti-Trumper. I'll admit it. I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted for Trump. I really believe the lies. I used to be a part of the big conspiracy theory of, that Hillary Clinton was bad for the country, this, that, and the other, and all the things. But if Democrats were rigging elections, Hillary Clinton would have won. Like, no one ever talks about that, right? We like to talk about how the Democrats are rigging elections, but the Democrats aren't. Republicans actually are. They're gerrymandering districts to make them Republican-safe districts. They're carving out areas. Like, if you ever look at a voter registry map for, like, your representative and things like that, look into it. It's the craziest looking map. you have no clue, like, where it ends and begin, like how these maps came up. Like, they're drawn just like complete weird anomalies, and like it's just because Republicans are trying to get maps to only vote in Republicans, in some districts only vote in Democrats. And I can't remember which day it was. I think it was Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a crazy thing going on there with their mapping system, and it just went to the state Supreme Court, and I think it made it an appeal to the federal Supreme Court, so the Supreme Court, just, our Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court decided that the state of Wisconsin Supreme Court has the authority and the jurisdiction over Congress, the state's Congress, to handle the maps and to draw them. And that's just fair, right? Like, I think that should be everywhere. And I'm not saying that I want more crazy people, to be able to be voted in. I'm just saying that, and that's on both sides of the argument, right? Because there's some people that are Democrats that are pretty out there and loopy and crazy. I'm just saying that it's more fair if we get that, right? So, one more time, guys, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank, our Facebook person that was out there today arguing with me on Facebook. I'll try and find his name, but I don't want to release like his full name. I'll just call him out by his name, whatever it is. But like he was awesome for at least being someone that wanted to maybe come in and talk a little bit. Clearly didn't. His name's Jeff. It's upsetting that Jeff did not show himself tonight. I didn't think Jeff was going to, but it is what it is. If Jeff showed himself, maybe we could talk about everything in a little bit more detail and have a real discussion, but it is what it is. I do appreciate Jeff, though, for at least kind of ending the night with like a hug emoji or a hug reaction, so that was nice. I just wish that he was here to, clearly not do a good job at arguing his points, but clearly to at least stand up for what he believes in. And that's the thing, right, guys? So it doesn't matter what you believe in as long as you're standing up for it. And if you're going to come in and you're going to make statements like, that Trump won and there's 2 militaries and there's, a child pedophilia ring happening and running around, and go see the Sound of Freedom movie, and it's almost a documentary of what's happening and all these things, stick to it. Discuss it. When people start combating you back, don't run away and say, "Why? I really don't. I don't really know much about it. I don't have the ability to talk about it. I really know too much." If you have the ability to have the opinion and to splatter that opinion out, then you have the ability to do the research yourself. You have the ability to also put it through your own filter. You have the ability to go through and try and figure out what's happening, right? And like also just discuss with people. Have a discussion, a healthy debate. It doesn't have to turn into an argument. Like this guy, Jeff, here, we did like a hug carrot, reaction on the way out. Good stuff. He's a little bit chicken shit for not showing up tonight, but it is what it is. More power to him for at least ending the night off that way. I do think that people should be able to come forward and put themselves out a little bit. And, you never know. Your mind might get changed, and that's the thing. See, their mind is being changed. They don't want to talk about it because their mind is being changed, and that's why they don't want to do it. So anyway, Trump indictments. I don't know. He's going down. I think he's going down. I don't know if you guys think he's going down. I think he's going down. There was a lot of like studies that came out from the Trump indictment and kind of things that are going around it, though. I don't understand how 54% of the Republican primary is where Trump is polling at. And that was a couple of weeks ago before the 4th indictment. I haven't seen the updated numbers, but 54% is a huge amount of people. All right? That's just an amazing amount of people. MAGA is 37% of the Republican Party. I don't know if y'all have ever looked at those numbers, but just the Make America Great Again movement is 37% of the Republican Party. And that is not a small, section of the Republican Party. That is a huge section of the Republican Party. And that's really wild that, there's that many MAGA people. I can understand MAGA people. They don't have too many crazy arguments. The standalone original MAGA people. The QAnon people, different story. But the MAGA people, I can understand how they got there. I don't agree with them, but I can understand it. And also a poll that came in saying that 90% of Republicans feel that they need to support Trump. I don't know who needs to hear this. Obviously, the 90% of Republicans out there. But y'all don't need to support Trump. We don't need a criminal in office. And we can talk all day, and I wish people would jump in here and talk about, the fact that maybe he's not a criminal, but even though he is. But with that being said, you don't need to support Trump just because he's like winning the Republican primary. There's independents you can vote for. There's all kinds of people that you could vote for that are less damaging, that have, scruples, that have, balls, that have, cojones, that, that have any kind of word you want to insert, but also just have morals. Anyone out there, but not Trump. Like, self-made billionaire stealing money from veterans, from children, charity organizations that he started, paying off, adult film stars that he had an affair with, and this, that, and the other. And I'm not even talking about the affairs. Anyone can have an affair, you're Republican, Democrat, whatever. I'm just talking about the fact that the public funds that were raised for public office were used. That's not something that you can do. And then also, as soon as we get these indictments, we get hands out. I need help. I need things. Please donate $5, $10, $50, $500, whatever you can donate. Please donate to my self-made billionaire, mind you. And all it is to cover legal fees, which a good businessman, Trump, a self-made businessman, says that he's a good businessman. He should already have. He should already have that. And if he doesn't, that answers the question. I mean, I already know he's not a good businessman, but that's something right there, right? Like, he should already have a lawyer on retainer that's able to handle this stuff that he pays, and there's no additional fees. And even if there are additional fees, he's a billionaire. He should be able to pay for it himself. He doesn't need you and me and every other Republican out there. But see, that's the thing, is they've made it to where, like, I can be part of saving Trump, almost as if they're going to be thanks. And whenever he goes, I really appreciate you. I really do. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. There's no one like you. Whenever he does that, those people get like their heart flutters. Like, he talked about me. Did y'all see that? He talked about me. He's not talking about you. If anything, he's talking about the idiots that donated money to the self-made claimed billionaire who is rich and richer than most Americans, mind you, who could pay for his own legal fees, especially if the government's out to get him or whatever. The government that he installed, mind you, the Republican judges that he installed are after him. Yeah, that. So, yeah, there's so much going on here. You get all the far right wingers that are on the shows, and we can talk about the fact that, they just laugh at Trump. But let's go with someone like Bill O'Reilly, for instance. Why do conservatives, why are they so interested in how everyone else makes their money? But like Trump, right? Like, I wish I could show you my taxes. I can't. I'm under an audit. I wish I could show you, but I can't. The moment I'm out, I'll show you. Have we seen the taxes? No. He's not even under audit. So it's just lies. You know what I'm saying? Like, they never want to show us their money, but like, they want to know how everyone else got their money. Bill O'Reilly was on today talking about a former Obama administrator and how she made just buku money to get, like, since the 4 years of Trump. So first off, imagine having nothing to report and having to go in the third year of a presidency back to the previous administration, which lasted 4 years, and then bouncing into the next administration after that. So this is 7-year-old news, wondering about how they got their money. And we're talking about it in today's news. How'd they make their money 7 years ago? And this isn't an investigation. This is just a journalist talking. And I should give a shout out to Bill O'Reilly, and I know that that's weird for me to do here, but he actually is a journalist. He actually went for graduated college from like multi-level marketing journalism or marketing journalism or something like that. So he actually is a journalist. Unlike Tucker Carlson and some of these other people, they're not even journalists. But like so many people like rely on their words, right? But they're not even journalists. The other thing is they're so interested in like this person like from 7 years ago that made all their money, and they go, the person who was the expert, you know, quote unquote the expert. But like what are you? You're not an expert. You're not an expert in being able to decide who's an expert at whatever it is. Like you're criticizing their like that president. You're criticizing President Obama's, you know, decision to put someone in that position. And you're criticizing their you know, resume. But you're not in any position to criticize that resume. You can make comments all day long, I guess, but you're saying that this person was never qualified. Who made you to be able to say that you're qualified to do what you're doing, right? No one did. And that's the whole thing, is that just like Trump, because the argument goes to the same for Trump, right? So a president can appoint who they want, and even if the president doesn't know exactly kind of everything what's going on here, they can always bring someone in who does. And that's what President George Bush did. That's what President Reagan did. That's what George Bush, you know, Jr. did. That's what Obama did. That's what Trump did. The smart people left 5 minutes after being appointed because they realized that their smarts were no longer being utilized for the good of the country. Dr. Anthony Fauci, like that guy, what do they call him? Dr. Anthony Fraudchi or something like that. Like the guy is literally a medical doctor, has been around 30 years, worked for the CDC, all the thing, man. It's wild, like what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? Anyway, like that's what's crazy. Also, you know, Trump is, you know, he says like 8, 10, 12 billion or something like that is what he's worth. The numbers I saw put him somewhere around $1.5 billion to $2 billion, I think, is where he's at. I mean, still a billionaire, awesome, good stuff. Good money. I wish I had the money, but like, you know, like it's still not that much, you know, he's self-inflating. Bill O'Reilly is only worth 85 million. And that's a lot of money, right? So how did he make his $85 million? He made his $85 million by going through and marketing journalism, right? So he doesn't make money if you disagree with him, right? Like he doesn't make money if you disagree with him. What he makes money doing is pulling people to his show, to his channels, similar to here, to be able to talk about things that they want to talk about, and they'll make money for it. So they find like-minded people and pull them in. The difference is most human beings have a moral backbone, and some human beings don't. And Bill O'Reilly is one of these. He'll take the money over being honest and correct every day. I'll tell you if I'm wrong. I'll tell you if I'm wrong. But Bill O'Reilly's not going to tell you he's wrong. When has any Fox reporter on live air or even in a statement put something out saying, you know, guys, I was wrong. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. I shouldn't have touched that woman. I shouldn't have said these things. Any of that stuff. I was wrong about the accusation I made. Never. But you'll get news anchors anywhere else, you know, other centrists, other liberal, wherever. Even conservative, like the Washington Post and whatnot, is a little bit conservative leaning. They'll even go, you know, we actually we didn't do our due diligence. We redact this, or we're you know, reneging on the story. We're pulling it back. We're redacting all the info out that was false. We're rerunning the story, or we're just pulling the story to begin with because it was all false, and that's our fault. And when they go to court, they pay their dues. Kind of like for those people out there who don't know about this, but it's a great story, is Nick Sandmann. This is a conservative win-win story. For those of y'all that don't know, Nick Sandmann was a young college student, I believe, or late high school student. He was on the footsteps of the Capitol, was there doing a rally, a riot. You know, it depends on who you talk to. Anyone who is talking about liberals marching will call it a riot, but I think it was a rally. They had picket signs. Oh, Lord. And they're voicing their concerns and opinions. This rally did get a little bit out of control, where they kind of found, I guess, someone who was wearing a MAGA hat, this Nick Sandman kid, you know, and they kind of rallied around him. There was this Native American gentleman who was like doing that stare down. Y'all might remember this story. Anyway, it came out that Nick Sandman had said all these like racial slurs and things like that to the gentleman, and then that the gentleman was a veteran and this, that, and the other. And a lot of stories, the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN especially, went through and ran these stories as if they were true and didn't do any fact checking. Well, it turns out that it was all fake. Like, that actually never happened. They kind of jumped on the bandwagon of, we wanted to be on the side of a victim, and then they really didn't know who the victim was, but they just prejudged the victim. And Nick Sandman actually was able to prove that he never said anything. He was just there, and he kind of was just staring into the camera, not really knowing how to respond to this gentleman who just walked up and got in his face. And then obviously a rally around him was kind of like, I wouldn't know what to do. And like, I don't think he would either, but anyway, like he didn't know what to do. So he just kind of froze and was kind of, what do I do? When he proved that in courts, mind you can look at the court cases and find out, like, this kid became a billionaire overnight. He sued for like, I think like $350 million, $750 million, $1.2 billion, $450 million. And I think he settled out of every case. He's a billionaire. He doesn't have to do anything ever again, unless he's like earlier we were talking about, like with Double and Pack, you know, where they just waste their money. But I think probably the kid was able to fend that off and was able to fend, you know, off the bad press. He probably got a good head on his shoulders. And that's one of these conservative win stories. But stuff like that, right? Like that right there will show you that, you know, the media can go on these extremes, but the extremes are not what you think they are. You know, they're not like fake news is not really a thing. And if fake news is anything, it's Fox News or OWN is fake news. Just like the Queen song being pulled from cancel culture. Cancel culture is if the song was out there and us as society rioted up against Queen saying, we're not going to buy your album because of the song Fat Bottom Girls. That's not what's happening. Queen themselves decided, before we release this, we're going to go through, we're going to pull the song, we're going to, you know, talk about, you know, trying to reach a new audience, and we don't think this song, you know, resonates with that new audience. So that right there is what happened. That's not cancel culture. And that's what the argument was tonight with the gentleman, Alex, right? Alex? Can you all correct me? Was that Alex, I think? Jeff. That's who it was. Jeff. So anyway, I think that is a great place to stop talking about politics tonight and everything that we got going on. I think it'd be great to maybe run a little bit of DayZ. I don't know if you guys feel that. I do. We're going to switch into our game mode here. What it do? Pull up some DayZ. And we'll see if we can do that. I'm gonna go ahead and close some of these windows. We got a lot of stuff open here. Yeah. We will be back next week. Next Monday, we're doing a stream every Monday, guys. So for those of you that were here tonight, those of you that are watching the VOD, please remember to drop that follow on any of the platforms you're on. Remember to follow the content, interact, check in with me, see how we're doing. I'd love to talk politics and gaming with everyone. Also, remember to drop that follow here on twitch.tv/ThePoliticalGamer as of right now. And we're going to be able to go through and chill, talk, communicate. And for those of you that are already followers, remember, you guys got that Prime subscription. Remember to drop that Prime subscription here, guys. Thank you so much. Let me see. I think I hit the wrong button here. I haven't gamed in forever, guys. Like I told y'all, we've been getting ready for a new kid. We got a new kid in. So I think I hit the wrong button, but we're going to see. We're going to see where we're at. Right here. All right. Yeah. Keep it clean. I don't know what that means. It's DayZ. Like, there's no keep it clean here. Yo, what up? Anarchy Data. W for the win. What it do? Peace out, Pack. I'm still gonna be here though, Pack. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of Daisy. Probably do a quick run here, just see what's going on. I'm gonna change everything up. Thank you so much for being here, Anarchy Data. W win. Let's see, we got this here. Let me go out. We're gonna do a new one. I don't know what that is. We'll pull that up some other time. I'll go to servers. I think I saw like Takistan or something like that. That would be neat to play. Also, let me jump in right here. Let's go to the game window. It's going to be a lot of stuff happening here, so let me go through and pull this down. Get ready for you guys. All right. Let's see if we can do Takistan real quick. Jump in. I'll check audio. We should be good to go. Set up DLCs. Oh my goodness. All these are not set up. Either way. Well, we'll exit out and see if we can find another one. But Takistan would have been really good to be able to play. Would have been dope. For those of you that, once again, that have not been in here before, welcome to the stream. Welcome to Political Gaming. I am DragonStorm325. And for most of you guys on the platforms that we be gaming on, you're going to find me under DragonStorm325. If you want to add me, we can play together. Just trying to get a couple of these loaded up here. There was a Namalsk I saw. Was Namalsk joinable? Yeah, Namalsk is joinable. There's still stuff to add in here. Restart game and join. And let's see. Micah TV. Thank you so much for being here, Micah TV. Was it Facebook? You on Facebook? Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, man. Hopefully all is well. Anarchy Data on Twitch. W win. What it do? I wonder if I can just go through and play like we had. You know, we had something up. I want to see if I can just get that up and see if we can play. It really is upsetting our buddy wasn't here, though. Debbie for the comments. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already subscribed, if you're interested in being a part of the show, if you're interested in just following, please make sure to... Oh, Anarchy Data, you... Yeah, Tavern from YouTube. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for W for the comments, man. I really appreciate you being here and following in. Let's see. Doom. All right, looks like we're loading in. There we go. Pull that. There we go. We got Daisy popping up. Let's see what we can get going. All right, looks like Namalsk. Is this still good? 6 hours, 6 minutes, and 13 seconds. I wonder if this will let us play this character. Whatever we had going on. Let's see. Yeah, unable to connect. We'll have to go through and, like, load some of this next time to be able to get in. I can do a lot better. And I'll try to do another stream this week where we're just gaming a little bit, doing a little bit of conversing about some of the... topic of politics at hand, but we'll go through and see if we can just drop in a game real quick. Man, I really wanted to do Takistan though. There we go. Daylight acceleration. Yeah, there's a lot of these that need to be upgraded, and it should have already been doing it, but it looks like it stopped in the middle of it. So I'm sorry, guys. We're not able to jump in a game here. It won't let me jump into any of my old games. It won't let me do any of that. I will try to come back, though, for you guys to be able to go through and get a round of DayZ, and that would be really fun. I would love to game. We'll maybe try and do that Thursday. I think Thursday might be a good run. But did anyone have anything else we wanted to talk about before we head out? Like, there was a lot of stuff that we hit tonight, guys. You know, Georgia Maloney, hilarious. If you haven't checked out that track, Isano Georgia is a great song. I wish it was available on, like, iTunes. I wish that was great. Another thing that we could talk about real quick is if you guys haven't seen this guy, I think he was like a TikTok star. He created his own song on TikTok. He's like in the Appalachian Mountains. He's probably in like Tennessee or something like that. And he's got like a banjo kind of guitar mixture. And he is singing a song. Fox News was talking about how it's knocking Taylor Swift out of the water. You know, anything that tear down Taylor Swift. You know, like this guy is got a song and it's pulling on iTunes and that's it. It's not on any other platform. It's also not on any like the Rolling Stones top, you know, roll numbers, you know, the top 100, anything like that. Anything that's ranked and official other than it's pulling in on iTunes like is number one. I mean, it's kind of like me. Like I could produce this right now as a podcast and put it out there for sale for 99 cents. And if this really got trending and we got going, they'd be like, watch out, Joe Rogan. Watch out, Jon Stewart. DragonStorm325 with Political Gaming is going through and taking the charts. Step aside, y'all idiots. Like, that's how Fox News is promoting this guy. I don't know what the guy's name is. I heard one of the songs earlier today. I thought it was a decent song. Not really good. I think that it was decent because, like, he did better than me. I think it's written and it's powerful, right? Like the idea is that he's talking about, you know, the man, like, you know, on his back, you know, he's working all this overtime and he can barely make rent and, you know, the struggles of any American family right now. But the funny thing is I don't know the guy's political stance. I'm going to guess his political stance is a far right leaning Republican. But with that being said, the funny thing is, far right leaning Republicans say that they're fighting for the man, or they want, you know, they're fighting for, you know, the everyday Joe. But that's not who far right leaning Republicans that are in power are fighting for. They're fighting for the 1%. They're fighting for themselves. Anti-unions, anti-labor laws, things like that they don't want because it mixes and messes with their algorithm for money. Democrats are the ones that are actually fighting for the middle class, for the lower class, even for the lower, higher class. They're just saying that you're not going to pay as much taxes as, you know, you're going to have separate tax brackets. But like Fox News is talking about, this guy is like breaking down charts. He's not breaking down charts. He's number one on iTunes. And like Taylor Swift hasn't had an album out in a year. Like, I'll tell you, he's not breaking down her Eras tour earnings. I think I saw a quote, you know, we rapidly went from $1 billion in sales to, like, that's insane. Like, the most expensive money pulled in tour ever. In like, that right there is impressive. The fact that this guy is knocking down on iTunes is impressive, that he's knocking down someone who's an artist like Taylor Swift who hasn't had music in a year from a year ago. Could it be that all the Swifties out there, which I'm a Swiftie, I like Taylor Swift, and I mean I'll argue when Taylor Swift's wrong and whatnot, but I'm just defending the same principle. We can talk about Ariana Grande. We'll talk about Lana Del Rey. Right? Like, I'm not a big Lana Del Rey fan. I think she's got some interesting sounds. But with that being said, if this was Lana Del Rey, Like, I think it'd be impressive that he was taking down Lana Del Rey. And Lana Del Rey, I don't know what she's worth. I didn't look it up. It's just something I'm talking about. I'd look it up after this, though, and we'll talk about it next time. But Lana Del Rey, let's just say, is worth $50 million. Lana Del Rey, which surprising is movie stars. Movie stars normally hovering around 30 to 50 million, maybe $60 million. Normally artists are going to be more than that, but anyway. So Lana Del Rey could be at $50 million. Is what her net worth is. And if this guy knocked her down off of iTunes, I still would be shocked. I'm like, wow, that's impressive for him. Good for him. But the fact that you're saying that the charts are busting for this guy because he's speaking the truth, I think it's just a lot of people are going through and buying this song. I think this guy probably has found a niche that he can be in, that he can work in. I'm pretty sure that's where he's at. I'm pretty sure that that's where he is trying to sell his song, and good for him. He's making a killing. Good stuff. Yet again, he's knocking down artists that haven't put out new music. So as a Swiftie, I'm not buying Taylor Swift's album over and over and over and over again. Right? Like, I'm not going to buy it 8 times. So I'm not, after it came out initially, it's not going to be impressive that after a year, Taylor Swift got bumped from seat 1, which I think when I saw the chart, she was actually like seat 6. So like other people I had never even heard of were up there. So with that being said, like, that's not that impressive. You know what I mean? Like, that's not neat. But good for this guy though. If you haven't found him, I'm sure you'll see him all over social media. He's got a very long, big red beard. Country guy, probably a really good guy to have a beer with. I sit down and have a beer with him. And I definitely understand the working man. I am a working man. I work for my family, and I work out in the Texas heat all day. And I definitely understand trying to make it a better place for myself, my crews, and I also am just really devoted to my employer as well, which you don't hear a lot of people talking about. I work with some of the best people in the industry that I work in, the water and wastewater industry, and the people that I work for, the people that I work with are the best people, top notch ever. It's such a cruddy field to be in, and you're already dealing with shit, literally. So to be able to have people that are not shit is really good, and we're just top notch at what we do. There's no one that would have the organization that we have, and that's better. So I understand working for the working man, and I know that that guy probably is thinking he's doing this for the working man. And I am taking a stab in the dark that he's probably a hard right leaning conservative, but still, with that being said, those are not normally the ones that are fighting for the working man. They're fighting for their own pocketbook. With that being said, I'm gonna leave you guys. It was a great night. I had a really good night. What I would like to do though is when we're on our way out here, I'm going to pass you guys off to someone that we can raid, and we'll see if anyone's online. We've got Sup Caitlin online, Captain Shade, a buddy of mine online, Fulgin, RG Brooker. I think what we're gonna do, because we're just chatting, is we're gonna pass you guys over to Sup Caitlin. I think we're gonna do Fulgin. I'm gonna pass you guys off to Fulgin. Sup Caitlin's a little bit different of a stream than what we got going on here, guys. I'll try and be back later this week. We're shooting for Thursday to be here for a DayZ stream with some political commentary moving through and out. I'm sorry, you guys, tonight we couldn't get any of that DayZ going. I just have to download the DLCs. I haven't gamed in a while. My apologies. I will catch you guys next time. God bless, and stay neat, all right, guys? If you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button. Remember to hit that follow button. Remember to like the pages. We're on all social media platforms. I look forward to seeing you guys then. Stay neat, and I'm raising a glass to you. So have fun.